Our next guest is a two-time Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, and get this, a producer that's worked with everyone from Jill Scott and Music Soul Child to Dwele and Vivian Green.
That's right, and now he's headlining a summer tour and getting ready to release his 10th album, The Box. Eric Roberson, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
so
great.
glad you're here. Wow. So your album comes out next week, and you've described it as mature, right? But with a little bit of b-boy flair. So what does that mean, and what can you tell us about it?
Growing up in Jersey, you know,
Jersey?
yeah,
Woo,
yeah.
me
Every
too.
Sunday I'm in church. Every Monday I was on high school playing hip hop off of boom boxes, and you know, we had house music and rock and roll and all this different stuff. So it kind of just shows up all in my music.
Wow.
So how will this album be different from all the previous ones you've done?
You know, this album is definitely, now as we matured, you know, we're really the album cover and even the pictures behind me is kind of showing everything. We get on stage with suits, but yet we still got a b-boy mentality to it. So there's a lot more. The foundation of the album is say boom bap hip hop, but it's probably more live instrumentation than we've ever used. It's more musical, live horns and live keys and everything. It just was a beautiful time making this record.
I mean, it sounds like a lot of big ideas, but the title of the album is pretty simple. So how did you decide? How was the process of creating the name The Box for the album?
It starts right there. It started from as a kid. I had a little boom box, and that's where I learned about Stevie Wonder and Chicago and A Tribe Called Quest and all these different things. I would do my homework, and I couldn't listen to music, so I would press record on a tape, and I would do my homework, and as soon as I was done with my homework, I would listen to the radio, and as soon as a commercial came on, I would play my tape. I just didn't want to miss music at any point. So just going back to that natural feeling I had, you know, learning from that boom box that I had in the room.
All back to a simple boom box. You mentioned a few artists like Stevie Wonder. Who were some of your other musical influences growing up that you now cater your music toward?
Well, it starts with Stevie Wonder, A Tribe Called Quest, and the group Commission. That was my bowl of gumbo of creativity came from those three inspirations. And then it was big changes when of course, you know, Michael Jackson and Stevie were always apart. But when I heard Terrence and Darby, that was a big learning lesson for me. But I learned from everybody. I mean, there's so many people. Radiohead from overseas. Tom Waits is an amazing songwriter. I'm just a student, so I'm constantly trying to learn from something.
I have to ask you, though, there comes to a point where you have to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
And at what point did you realize you could actually follow in the footsteps of your revered idols?
Well, you know, I've been very blessed and very fortunate. And, you know, for me, you know, I've released 10 albums. And there were some starving artist times in there, you know, but I've been very fortunate to be very productive. And now, you know, when you think about life, you know, I'm married now. I have 2 little kids. They were around the whole time we recorded the studio. You can hear them on the album and everything.
That's great.
So, you know, for me, I think, to me, it's always been about process over product. The product aspect of worrying if it's going to work or worrying if I'll be able to success, I learned a long time ago to stay away from that. I'm very much a process-driven person. It's just staying in the now and not really worrying about it, because I've learned the hard way that it will work out. Whether tough times or good times, you're going to learn from it and be better from it.
Well, speaking of your process, I mean, you've been called one of the original pioneers of independent movement in R&B and soul.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to take that route at the beginning, and have you ever regretted it?
Well, I've been in the business for 20 years. I've been signed and dropped by every, you know, major record label you could possibly think of, and so it was just interesting. I got into, I had a breakup, and I made an album just because I was in the studio. That's the only way I knew how to heal. And when I was done, I was like, whoever wants it can have it, and that's really how it started. People were buying it overseas and different things, and they challenged me to really take that part of my business serious. I was just going to go back to writing songs for other people. I didn't think that that was really going to have a future, and it became, you know, it became the way. And interesting enough, now the industry has turned that way, whereas before people were looking at me like I was crazy when I did the first 2 albums of mine that way. But I wear any title that anyone tries to give me that way. I mean, I'm appreciative of it, but I wasn't the first one to do it. I think there was a lot of us that were championing on. And as a songwriter producer, the one thing that I saw was there were so many records that weren't coming out that we worked on we witnessed. And just take your favorite artist. Imagine if they never came out, all the music we would have missed. And, you know,
That's true.
so record labels hold on to a lot of that stuff, whether a new president takes over or budget cuts or whatever. There's a lot of music that doesn't come out, and I didn't want to be one of those artists.
A casualty, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it all worked out because now you're on this big tour. Tell us about your tour, where you're going to be going, what people can expect on the road.
The vibe like.
A lot of fun. The band is rehearsing right now. Shout out to the band. I'll see you guys in a minute. And we're having a good time. We start off in Chicago. Then we come to New York, D.C., all the way across Philadelphia. Then after that, South Carolina, Atlanta. It's just we're going to literally touch every single market in the United States. And then started 2015, we're overseas.
Wow. And I know today you're going to be singing your new single, Mark on
Yes.
Me. But what I thought was interesting about the song is you're crooning about a guy who steals the heart of this gal. So are you that dude? And if so, is this a warning?
Well, actually, the girl steals the heart of the guy. You know,
got it.
she left her mark on me. And, you know, it's about a guy who thinks, you know, he usually has his way. And it's really, I was inspired by the movie Boomerang, where Eddie Murphy is, you know, when the tables get turned on him, and he's like, you know, call me. That moment right there is really the moment I tried to capture, you know, with the song.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so every once in a while, you know, it gets turned around on all of us. So we got to be prepared for it.
All right, well, speaking of getting prepared, we'll let you go get prepared to sing.
Indeed.
All right, and he'll, here to sing us to commercial with his new single, Mark on Me, off his new album, The Box, is Eric Roberson.
Ooh, take it away.
It didn't go like I had planned. I thought after we shared an evening, I would have the upper hand. But the thought of this girl ain't leaving. She's constantly on my mind. And I thought it would be the other way around. And I found the games I played on me right now. 'Cause I smell her hair and I smell her perfume, even though I know she's not there, no. And I can't resume. Oh, she left a mark on me, a mark on me, a mark on me. This pretty little girl left a mark on me, a mark on me, a mark on me, yeah. I don't even know what to say or do to make this feeling go away. I feel like I wake up every day hoping that the feeling's gone. But of course now I'm reminded that I'm wrong. And I dream about her all night long. She's dancing in my head like a song. What is going on? I smell her hair and I smell her perfume, even though I know she's not there, no. And I can't resume. Oh, she left a mark on me, a mark on me, a mark on me. This pretty little girl left a mark on me, a mark on me, a mark on me, yeah. I smell her hair and I smell her perfume, even though I know she's not there, no. I can't resume. Oh, she left a mark. Hey. So she left a mark. This pretty little girl left a mark. Hey. So she left a mark. This pretty little girl left a mark on me.